What's up, everybody? Welcome again. This is Kids on the Stoop. My name is Fabian. I'm your host. I got here an amazing person, one of my favorite people in the TTRPG space. They run stuff for plus one XP. You know those zines that you love and enjoy whenever you go, like those are like small books. These wouldn't be a thing if this person did not exist or be in the space. Please welcome.
That's right. I created zines.
Well,
zines.
You didn't create them, but you definitely make sure that they are made. Let's welcome Wes.
Yeah.
Wes, let's tell people about you. Where can they find you? What do you do? Introduce yourself.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Fabian. Also, I like the name of the show, Kids on the Stoop. Yes. I get it. It's because like you're like a New Yorker and everything like that. But also, Kids Stoop. Stoop kids gotta leave the stoop at some point. But exactly. You just hang out in the stoop. But it feels like Kids on the Slope as well. I don't know. Shout out Kids on the Slope.
Hell yeah.
We could talk about slice of life jazz anime at some point. Probably not right now. But yeah, no. Hi, my name's Wes. Wes Franks. My pronouns are they, them. I head up Crayon Comfort. I did actual play for a long time, and I still do here and there. I'm currently in the midst of editing a big beefy one that's taken me so long because there's a lot of moving parts with it. Called Villains, and I have a bunch of other shows that I did, and I've done it with other groups. And you've seen me here on Bad House RPG. I am typically your white villain of the week. Sometimes I show up and I just do nefarious things. And I love y'all's shit. Y'all have dope shit. Y'all make good shit.
You too.
Like Fabian said, I head up Plus One EXP's RPG Zine Club. What that is well, it's a monthly membership. It's a club membership. It's not a subscription service. Where you get fresh new zines each month. We have story options, we have adventure options, and you can get one or the other. You can get both. You can get them only digital. You can get them physical. We have a bunch of tiers that are very affordable. The highest we go is $34, and you get 2 games a month for $34.
That's huge.
I am a creative director, a project manager, a liaison, an agent, a personal assistant, an accountant. I am all of those things rolled into one, and they call me a zine fiend. And yet still people call me that I am like underqualified in this industry, but we'll see.
Your exploits are clearly understated in this space, and you are a huge like pillar in this community for sure. Having worked with you guys at Plus One XP, like you do amazing work. And if you look it down on the title of this episode, you'll get what we're talking about. We're talking about zines and how it's important to our community and how it creates this space for people who want to get into designing games, but also want to break away from the ever like looming grasp of D&D and fantasy games and sci-fi or whatever. So before we get into a lot of like what you guys do, let's kind of give an idea of what a zine is. Like what to you guys, what are zines?
This is my favorite question. A lot of people say, is it pronounced zine or zines? And I know how you could say it's zine because it looks like 9 with the N turned sideways. But no, it's zine. It's short for magazine or fanzine.
Yeah.
There are 3 different. When you're talking about zines or zine, you're talking about one of 3 different things. There is the artistic subculture movement that happened. Like it took a big boom in the 1980s, in late 70s and going into the 90s, of like people in Seattle, especially in the punk movement or hardcore movements or even metal movements, of people making promotional fan content or just collections of poetry, articles, comic strips, that sort of thing. So that there's the zine movement. then you could be talking about the aesthetic style, which is the zine aesthetic style, which means you're taking essentially collages of printed out things, words, writings, and you are photocopying them, and it gives like a very DIY punk look to things.
Exactly.
And the ones that you would typically see within the TTRPG space, like I'm holding here, this is Chain Link by Ethan Yin, and it was laid out by Andrew Bowman with art by the lovely Tony Tran. It's a fantastic zine. But then you are talking about a 20 to 70 page book or small magazine. Related to either, it can be like science fiction, politics, poetry, ephemera, journals, social theory. Intersectional feminism finds a lot of its roots within zine culture. You can date zines all the way back to the 1700s with those funky white guys in the colonies like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Paine with their pamphlets, but those were more pamphlets. If you're looking at zines as how we see them now, then you'd probably find a lot of the roots of how we design zines and go about them was found during the Harlem Renaissance. A lot of black literary magazines were formed in Harlem, especially, and then counterculture science fiction magazines kind of stemmed from that too. Essentially, it is one of the most intersectional proletariat forms of dispersing entertainment, art, or culture, or information or news that you'll find. Which I know that was a long-winded. That was a pretty heady answer.
That's
but yeah.
perfect, because like you hit the nail on the head with every single differences of like how zines are used. This obviously our own communities use it in one way, but zines can span a lot of forms. And definitely, like, as a kid growing up in the 90s, like I've definitely like experienced like a lot of like, not necessarily like kids my age, but like a little bit older, like just like creating their own things, like making information available through zines even before like the whole information superhighway of the internet was available, and it's wonderful. And I love how it's crossed into not necessarily only like TTRPGs, but also like, comics and like poetry. Like it gives a like stage for these people who are underrepresented or don't have like that platform to create and put out like the information that they have. And it's wonderful, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. A little bit more history just to kind of show the many uses of it. I think like if you look up zines and you look at the Wikipedia, you'll see, I think it's like Lithuanian partisans in 1949 when Lithuania was freeing itself from the Soviet Union. They utilized zines to disperse information, but they also utilized zines to disperse plans for making strikes. They would have zines that looked like art books, and it was actually like revolutionary. It was like their battle plans and things like that. Same thing with the French partisans during the World War II. They utilized zines as a way to, the same way the Lithuanians did, which is like using these art booklets and everything that were approved, Nazi approved art and everything like that, and they would hide messages within them and pass them along through that, because you're handing out things like that, and just like political pamphlets and everything. It's very cool, and it's like something that's so rooted in like progressive history and culture and everything like that. It's very cool. It's very sick.
Yeah. And like now, like it's been growing how like a lot of people have been using zines to create like not only necessarily like print zines, but you also have these platforms like Itch and stuff like that provide a space for people to create like this like DIY thing and promote their games, right? How does like, in your experience, how has this like revolutionized or like at least changed the landscape of like gaming like in TTRPGs?
Yeah, I think if you're old enough to remember the origins of our industry, I mean, consumerism is the very seed of which TTRPGs were born. It was a bunch of nerds wanting to make money, not doing the things that they were doing, and wanting to make money off of making games, war games and board games and everything. And even then, adventure modules for Dungeons and Dragons, stuff for GURPS, stuff for like if there's like an old TTRPG from the late 70s, early 80s, there are probably supplementary materials that were distributed in a zine style format. Either it was digest size or is which is like, digest is like the standard, the 8.5 and 11 or whatever. But then you've got zine format here, which is A5, which is 5.8 and then by 8.3, which makes it a little bit smaller, but it's a little bit easier to carry around and everything. You can have more of them. And so you saw people kind of carrying on that. Zines are huge in the OSR, or Old School Renaissance, or NSR, New School Renaissance, which are competing schools of thought within TTRPGs of what is a TTRPG. Typically, you will see them yelling at each other online. And then both of them will yell about how fascists have taken over both of them, and then you realize it's like, oh no, that it's a wild community. That's a stretch to call it a community. It's a wild group of fans. It's a wild fandom. And just like cultural group. But like all of them, and like I have learned so much about zines and related into gaming in the past year. I was always kind of tangentially aware of them. I came from like emo hard, like when I was in high school, I was a church kid, but I was also a skater. And like I did theater and everything, but I was a skater. That was a lot of my friends. But I wasn't good at skateboarding. I'm still not good at skateboarding. I can ride a skateboard. And that's all I could do in high school, is could ride a skateboard. I'm 6'1". As of the recording, I'm 255. I've been losing weight. We've been hitting the weights and doing a diet. But like, I used to be like $150, and 6'1". I was a scarecrow, essentially. And yeah. And so like I hung out with all the skateboarders, and I would film them while they did skate tricks and everything. And so like my first taste, I remember, and I don't know if you remember the first time you ever read a zine or were handed one or anything. The first time I was handed one, was hanging out with a bunch of skateboarders, and it was just like some fucking metalhead at the skate shop that came by and just gave us a bunch, and it was like a weird horror comic, but it was like there was also like musings on like local government stuff that happened in it, and it was really cool. And like a couple of my friends wrote off and they said, "What is this piece of shit?" Blah blah blah, whatever. And then but like a couple of us were like, "Oh man, this is actually pretty sick. This is pretty cool." And then I thought nothing of it. But like, I still remember I have the first zine I ever purchased myself. It's a wrestling zine, of course. I'm a big professional wrestling head. But yeah, like I then remember like talking to people at conventions at PAX Unplugged, and then being like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing like this is my zine game or whatever like that." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And like, as is most everybody's introduction, I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is only like 15 pages and everything." I'm like, "How much?" And they're like, $5. And I'm like, "Okay." And I take it, I read it, and I realize within 15 pages, it's a full gaming experience.
Yeah.
You've got a full rule set and ways to create an adventure module. And then you start to realize, oh, this is like 3 of 10. And so you start hunting down that person and being like, where are the rest of them? And they're like, okay, I might find some copies or whatever like that. And then you realize that like these things are like, they're not printed. Like mass printed, like mass marketing stuff. Typically, it's under 1,000 copies, and like that's what designates a zine. If you do more than that, then you're starting to get into book territory, according to some schools of thought. But then you start realizing, and like you start digging back, and you're realizing that like back during the Forge era of TTRPG design and everything, people were making these little bite-sized games. People that are making games on itch right now, and they're like 6-page experiences, the 1 page, like what you're doing is making zines. They're just digital though. They just haven't been printed yet. Now, some of those games are pamphlets, if you want to go by Mixum standards or any printer standards, because anything less than 20 pages is a pamphlet. But like, essentially, if you're playing a game, it's now that's not been released by WotC or Chaosium or Darrington Press or Evil Hat or somebody, then it's it could be categorized as a zine, even if it's just a digital file of it. Now, a lot of people will come after me and they'll yell at me because they'll be like, it has to be printed to be a zine and everything like that. And like, sure, whatever. Like, we live in a digital age now. Like, like there's a distribution of information, like you said, information highways, and like are quicker now to get things to people. But like zines have like become now widespread. I think if you go to Gen Con or PAX Unplugged or any like major gaming convention, like you will see them at comic conventions all the time. Like there are artists that have zines and they're on racks and everything like that. But we're now starting to see them more and more at conventions where almost every single booth, if they have independent TTRPGs or if they're selling Morkborg supplements, even if they're selling 5e supplements, they are selling them in these like bite-sized little things where it's like, this is an adventure, take it. And like this is a group of weapons. Take it. And no, it's very cool. And like I see people trading these things at conventions. They've become way more widespread. I think a lot of people thought, and I don't think that it was as underground as people thought it was, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, the zine trade for RPGs was like so underground. People were just passing these things around and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, that was happening, but also, I mean, like it was just kind of out in the open. We just called it different stuff. Yeah. People just call them modules or supplements. Like yeah. But it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about it is like, apart from it being DIY, it's very affordable to just jump in. And that has been like a huge problem. And there's been debates recently of like, you know, financial accessibility, like, you know, the gateway into like playing TTRPGs, like, like both on the consumer and producer side, like, you know, we've heard it all. Like, we can't really make the game cheap enough because we have to like make overhead with like the writers, the artists, the editors, like everything that goes into publishing a book or at least a zine. And like, how do these, like, would you say that they, like, zines present the compromise for this problem?
Yeah, absolutely. I was at Super Magfest last year, and I was on a panel talking about making your own zine. And I charged some people to go to the FedEx, like office supply store that was in the convention center. And I said, if you have a game that you've been sitting on and you're like, it's not ready because it doesn't have art, and it's just sitting in your Google Docs, just fucking export that as a PDF right now. Make sure it's formatted, export it as a PDF and print it out. And if you hand it to me, then we can talk about publishing it. Now, nobody did that, but I do know that people printed out their zines and they were like talking about it with other people, but like that nobody came and handed it to me. But like, people came up to me and like they were like, that it's that easy. And I'm like, yeah, if you have the money to go to like a Kinko's or like an office supply store and like you tell them, hey, can you print this out and like fold it over, or like, do you have a stapler or something like that? You can sit there and assemble these things for cheap. Like, we've seen an influx in like supply craft. And like for art supplies and craft supplies and like in office supplies and everything like that, there's been an increase in prices, but it's still very affordable for you to go and just buy a bunch of paper and use a library printer or use like a church printer if you go to church or something like that. Like you don't have to have a home printer. I know those things are expensive as fuck right now. Like it is such an easy way to get into publishing your own games. I know you will see a bunch of people be like, well, like, I'm not a good artist. I don't know how to draw. I'm not Fabian Lelay. I don't know how to make like, you know, like a bunch of like comic book art or like badass posters or anything like that. So it's just going to be a bunch of words. And to that, I say, like, as gently and respectfully, fuck yourself over that. Like, I am like such...
Most zines are just words.
Words. It's just formatted words. Like This Old House, when I first printed it out for just like a test copy, Bran, my partner, did the layout for it. And that was like when Bran was starting out, and Bran did a great job, and Bran's getting even better now, but that was like a first kickoff. But it was just a bunch of words.
Yeah.
Come On In, the first Byte edition, that was like a demo disc for my game that I'm crowdfunding next year. Like that was just me laying it out I laid everything out in Affinity, but I just took the PDF of the Google Doc and I sent that to Affinity, and then I just started taking those words and then changing the font for the headings and changing the size for it and everything like that. Like, and then luckily I got to print it through Zine Club. But if not, then I would have gone to Mix'em and I would have printed like 50 copies for like $100 or $200. Though I know depending on the size and how much you're wanting to put into it, Mix'em can be expensive. Do you know how much it costs to print 100 softcover 90-page books?
Not off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've done comics. Like, yeah, because in terms of like printing, it's very similar. Maybe comics is a little bit more ink expensive. So like it might be a little bit more, but yeah, like please let us know like how much normally is it?
Yeah, so like starting out, if you're just like, okay, I'm kickstarting a game and it ends up being like 100 pages, and I want just like an 80-pound text with like a 100-pound cover that's like satin with gloss embossment on it, which is like a standard for a lot of books that you see that are like person's first game that they've printed and they're selling at their own booth, or they're selling with IPR or something like that. And you're looking at just like a basic run of 100 copies is going to run you $1,200. And that's at cost and everything like that. And so you're going to have to price that to get a return on that. It's expensive. As soon as you get past 70 pages, books become very expensive. They become very, very expensive because you can't just staple them at that point. You can't do saddle stitch anymore. Yeah. You've got to start using perfect binding glue. Yeah. Or you got to use like a wire, like you got to use like spiral binding. Yeah, exactly. And so that gets expensive because then you have to start including like more thicker, heavy duty paper. You get glue involved in there. That's going to take man hours instead of just hitting like sliding them through and then hitting a stapler and pushing it on. You're having to get there and you're having to print the pages along.
Basically,
it's another machine getting involved, and so it gets expensive. And so 100 copies of a 40-page zine that has color is going to run you about half the price of that. It's going to be $500, and that's including shipping. Yeah. It's going to be like around $500 or something like that for you. Now, depending on where you go, it might be more expensive. It might be cheaper. If you're doing it yourself, then it might be different. We have some people that we work with that print out of their basement, and they just send us copies to distribute to people. But like making a book like this isn't a TTRPG, but this is just like making a book like this is very expensive, and you need a lot of machinery and everything like that. Yeah. Making a book like this, you just need a couple of things to do it. And you can do it at your house, you can do it at your basement, you can do it at your bedroom, you can do it in your living room, you can do it everywhere. It is like zines, I think, are the way of the future of gaming, and people are like, and it's because we go in a cycle with history and also arts and culture. As we start discovering things before that didn't work for us, then we start to find them and they work now, and then we lose track of that and we come back and we pick it up again. Us as humans, we've been making like filthy like dick paintings since the beginning. Like it's a thing that's constant, and like making things like this is going to be constant. I mean, you think of like goddamn Martin Luther hammering a fucking like parchment paper on the door of the church and everything. Like that was just him, my man, distributing a zine. It's just that he didn't want to break the bank and he just printed one copy. So he said, let everybody go read it. And if they want to print more copies, they can print them themselves. Like, and he didn't really say that, but I hope he did say that. Because printing it's time consuming, but like it is like, I have seen, I have such like an extensive hardcover TTRPG collection on a shelf. I have an entire Billy shelf dedicated to just RPGs, which is not, I know people have way more than that, but that's more than a lot of people have. Some people just have digital books and everything like that. I've also got comic books and hardcover books and everything. I'm a physical media hoe. But I used to be all about the deluxe edition hardcover, that kind of thing. Yeah. I also had like a decent job. I had the ability to purchase these all the time, even if it was just like one or two a year. And then last year I lost my job. I'm unemployed. Like I had a series of like within like a year of me losing my job, I had my cat die, I had my partner break up with me, I had a bunch of other bullshit with my car, my family's coming apart, and then everything. And so like I just had to buying like physical hardcover books was not really a thing for me. And then I discovered zines, rediscovered, I should say, zines. And then I met Tony, and I learned about how widespread and how it's growing and everything, and how Plus One is kind of like in the center of it all. Not starting it, but like really trying to cultivate a garden of it all.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with them. Like we sell, our highest price zine is $25, and that's for a 70-page book. And that's going to get you, that's endless hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
There are video games that don't have that kind of replay value, and they're charging you $70 for those pieces.
Exactly.
Right now, WotC is selling, I think, how much are their 2024 all three books is going to go, like 180?
180, I believe, yeah.
And you can get like a $220 slipcase, like special library edition with the ribbons and everything like that.
Yeah, where like they give you like a DM screen or whatever.
Yeah. I've gotten in trouble for talking about WotC before, and so I keep it kind of like close to the chest when I talk about it.
But like just the facts, of course. But
yeah. But when I think about like paying $200 for something that somebody's going to give me for $20, and I'm helping somebody directly, I mean, fuck that, man. Yeah, give me the $20 game, dude. Yeah. Like absolutely. And even if I don't fucking play it and I just sit there and read it, that's a piece of art that somebody worked on.
Yeah.
That's personal. That's handcrafted to an extent.
Not only
like
that,
somebody
like the thing that I also notice about like these games are like the rule sets are so innovative that you can just bring them to your own games.
Yeah.
Hey, like just keep playing your own game, but if you like a rule set from a zine, like take it.
Yeah.
You know,
they inspire my game design all the time. I'm citing them in the books that I'm working on, and like the games that I'm always working on games. I'm always designing.
Mm.
It's my hobby. Like that's my art. It's my passion. And a lot of people will be like, game design is not art because game design is making games and it's entertainment or some shit like that. Whatever. Fucking like, you can have your opinion. I got my opinion and everything like that. And there are some games that are not meant for art purposes. They are just meant for consumption.
Yeah.
And those are just as valid as but they have a different vibe to them. They have a different intention.
Yeah.
But like I'm able to afford that now.
Mm-hmm.
I make now, because Zine Club's doing well, I got a pay bump. So I'm making, including Zine Club and my start playing games, I'm making about $800, $900 a month, which is not a lot. I'm very lucky that my partner has a high paying job. And so like I'm able to cover bills, and I take on freelance, and that's like consistent income, $800 a month. But like I'm able to, but like I'm still able to play people's games because I'm like, here's $15. Mm-hmm. Like I've paid my bills and everything like that. Oh no, I'm not going to eat out for this week. Okay, I've got soup in the pantry. Give me this fucking game and let me sit down and play it. I'm sitting and playing.
This is where I get my joy this week. Like, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're getting, like you said before, like you're getting so many different experiences out of it. Like you're getting games that are like solo journaling games with tarot, like Brands Fallen from Grace.
Yeah.
And then you're also getting this game like Chainlink, which uses the Paragon system, which is like Deathmatch Island and Aegon. And then you've got my game, This Old House, which is like House of Cards. You've got Kyle Tam, who's a Panay designer and everything like that, which has not only a liminal horror module, but also a game called Beloved that's like the Because She Loved Me, Jesse's song from Toy Story 2, just encapsulated in it. Like you're having all of these experiences, and each of them are costing like $15, $18, $22, and you're like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, and I'm not scraping the bargain bin at fucking Blockbuster either. Some of this stuff is gorgeous. Like some of these games are gorgeous as fuck.
Yeah.
And then some of them look ratty. Like I've made games that look fucking ratty, and I love those ratty games. I know you're an artist, and so this is going to be fucking like controversial and everything like that. I fucking hate that there's such an idea that for a book or a game to be worth it, to be worth consumption, or to be worth winning a fucking award, it has to have fucking art with it. It is one of the most ignorant things I have ever heard, And like, I'm from fucking Podunk. We don't wear fucking shoes backwoods, like deep south. Like, I'm fucking white trash redneck over here. And I'm over here being like, no, the fact that you need art is actually not an elegant approach to game design and playing games and experiencing art, because you're using your fucking imagination, jabronis. Like, fucking, like, I don't know. Like, when I played,
thing to me for games, let me read it.
Legibility. Can I follow everything?
That's why, like, Morkborg, very interesting design, beautifully designed book. I can't read it.
Yeah. And they made a text version. They made and
which
and
is
like
fantastic.
they laid it out and everything like that, and it looks and even that looks great. Like, but like, and like, I get it, because like the Morkborg book and how Johan designed that, and like every page is a painting.
There's
and that's
an intention to that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But like, as long as it's legible, as long as you know, like, you can have like a 3-year-old draw your art for the whole thing. I don't condone, like, you know, child labor, but like, for as like a gimmick, like, you know how like that Crater Hoof Behemoth card with like the 6-year-old drawing, like, feel free to do that. Like, there is beauty in that, and you know, that can be appreciated as long as your game is like legible. You know,
we've got a creator named Zoa who was one of the first people that I recruited for Zine Club, and then we ended up turning it around, and we're going to be using her game for a different project. But it's called Pandora's Crayon Box. And all the art was designed by the kids that she taught at summer camp. She did get she got the permission from the parents and everything, and she, we've worked through all of that and everything. So it's not just like unethical child labor where she was standing over these kids and being like, draw monsters, draw magic items, draw stuff. But like it is a way to get kids into TTRPGs in a rules light way that doesn't talk down to kids. I find that a lot of the games that people tout as like kid friendly, there's a talking down to it, where like it is the literary representation of somebody bending down to talk to a kid like this. And like, I don't know if you've ever worked with kids. I taught kids at theater camp. And like I've just, and like I also was like a vacation Bible school like counselor and everything like that. But like, kids are so fucking smart. Like, kids are so like, some of them are fucking like idiots. Some of them are like ignorant as fuck. But like, a lot of them are like very perceptive, and they're very intelligent, and they talk and they understand. And even if they don't know the big words, they know how to convey exactly what they're feeling. Yeah. And so like, this is a game like that. And that's amazing that you can have an experience like that, and you don't have to pay fucking $80 for it.
And that's beautiful, because like, again, you know, games nowadays getting more and more expensive, understandably why. But
tariffs are fucking us, man. I mean, we don't literally within a number of days, all of the games that you're wanting to play and crowdfunding and stuff like that, if they have dice and tokens connected to them, they're fucked. They're fucked. Like, to ship them to Canada is going to cost as much as shipping it to like Australia. Or doubly so. And it's fucked. You're going to be seeing a lot of people getting screwed over.
Yeah. And like, that's the beauty of zines, you know? It like, entertainment, joy, simple things like that should be accessible to people who don't necessarily make a lot of money, or just want to like enjoy their lives, you know, or enjoy a hobby. But Plus One XP, you know, you guys are doing a lot. You guys, IPR, you guys are pretty much pushing a lot of like zines. So apart from like Zine Club, what are like these initiatives that you guys are doing to make games more accessible, to promote indie games? Because that's also something that I feel is very important to the community, because like a lot of people, like, it's already 2024 and people are still just only playing D&D. So like, you know, like pushing and promoting like these indie games. What are you guys doing about that, and how are you guys seeing like the return, or at least the interest of the community?
Yeah, so plus one EXP. Tony calls it the log line is it's a weird little brand that multi-classes into tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, being content champions in the indie tabletop role playing community. And essentially, you mentioned some other great folks: Indie Press Revolution, IPR.
Yeah.
There's also IGDN, Independent Game Designer Network. Shout out Gila RPGs with Spencer. You've got Will Yost. You've got the Breitbart Games crew. Even RRD, Rowan Rook Deckard. You've got Soul Muppet. You've got all these folks here that we all like. If you go to any conventions, come hang out with us, talk with us, and everything like that. We're much cooler to hang out with than some of the other people that hang out in conventions. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, we approach game design and independent RPGs very much the same way as all those other folks. But a lot of those other folks are just strictly design, or they're just strictly a storefront. What we utilize is we are a place not just for cultivating a culture where we can talk about things, where we can critique and criticize. You'll see in our Discord server, there's a lot of open conversations where people have disagreements and everything like that. And we keep it like we talk about criticisms, critiques, not only about things happening in the industry, but game design and how things look and everything. We really push each other. We also have the Zine Club, RPG Zine Club, which is a monthly zine club where, like I said at the top, we deliver 2 games a month. I am always constantly developing 24 plus games. And we take emergent and established game designers and we pair them up together with games that are thematic. Sometimes we have to switch some things out because delays happen.
Yeah.
And essentially, we run them through the process of game development, from writing a manuscript to sending it out to folks. We have a $750 budget allotted to each project that can contribute to layout, art, editing. They don't have to use all of it. It is something that we put forward that we collect in small increments on the back end, essentially using it as an advance. For the creators to do what they want with it. They don't have to touch it, that sort of thing. And we essentially get into a 50-50 partnership with them to have the license to print their game for the Zine Club. And we send them to our Zine members, so it's a guaranteed audience that's going to have your game every month. And then we also sell them at conventions. We sell them at punk rock flea markets. We sell them at queer street markets. We were just recently at FlameCon. We had Viditya and Dylan and all those folks at the booth. And so what we do is we work with those creators and we show them the process of the hurry up and wait process of developing a game, where it's like, okay, you got the manuscript done. Okay, let's go through dev editing. Okay, we got dev editing done. So we have layout happening. Okay, we forgot to get somebody to do cover. Let's go ahead and get somebody to get the cover. And you get to see the entire process. And what we do is I'm essentially I'm a shepherd. I'm a guide. I am leading you to a treasure myself I cannot possess, which is designing all your games. I just make them and help make them. But essentially, I'm there as a consultant. I'm there as your personal assistant. I'm everything under the sun to help you get this game out. And then what we also do is we provide an interview series if they want to be interviewed about their game releases. We also do exegetic actual plays. So instead of actual plays that are very highly produced like y'all do here, we do educational actual plays. So exegetic means that we are teaching as we go. If a mechanic comes out, then we're talking about it. We're discussing it. We're discussing about how it works. We're discussing about what we would do if we would change it or fine tune it, that sort of thing. And we're doing it live in front of our audience, and it's being provided on our YouTube.
We also have how to play rather than like a let's play rather than like an actual. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we also are working for sustainable design. So we show people kind of alternate options for them to do for their printing and their publishing. By doing small batch independent publishing with soft cover books like we do, we're be able to use more recycled paper. We typically go for a recycle uncoated look unless the designer specifies that they want a gloss or satin interior for their books. And we kind of just are here to champion folks. We're here to not only sell their games, but we're here to talk about their games, to hype them up. We are also here and committed to get them connected with more established designers and hopefully able to send them on to jobs that get them paid a little bit more in the TTRPG industry. It's really hard to break through that ceiling. As any creator, but particularly with POC voices and fucking like queer people and everything, and trans folks and everything like that. And so it's like it's really hard to break into it because it's gotten a little bit better about having old white men run everything, and a lot of those folks are dying out or retiring out, and we have a new generation of people on the rise. It's very interesting being at Gen Con and being at like a function where it's like a lot of my peers, it's a lot of our peers, like in our age group. There was nobody that was like over 30, like over 38 in that room. It was just like 38 to 25-year-olds, and I was like, oh, this is like the Baroque. This is the new class. This is the Baroque revival of game design, or the brutalist design of game design, or I don't know, like whatever we're going to end up calling ourselves. But like we get those folks connected with people. And it's all about kind of uplifting people and giving people an opportunity, an on-ramp to get involved with this. And we never tell folks that you're going to be rich, because you're not going to be rich working with us. You're not going to be wealthy working with us. But if we can pay a phone bill or a utility bill or something like that, and we can get you a couple dollars in your pocket every once in a while, we're going to do our best to try to sell your games as hard as we can. I know I am. And like, I'm going to be out here cheerleading you. And then also when I talk to somebody at a fucking meeting where they're like, I'm looking for a designer that can do this, I'm going to fucking sit there and I'm going to look at you and I'm going to look at your portfolio and I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to set it in front of me and be like, this person delivered on every single avenue and facet of game design. I think you should hire them. It is allowing us to get people into these rooms. That us ourselves aren't privy to entering as well. We're in a very weird part of the industry where we kind of sit. We're like a tavern. We're like a roadside inn, where there's a lot of crossroads that cross through +1, and we're just a place for you to stop and get a bite to eat, get a drink, or take a rest, and go off to something else.
Honestly, like from my experience in comics, right? Getting into comics is a lot more easier in my experience, because there are a lot of like other indie publishers. Once you know people, it's easy to like talk to people. It's easy to get your work in front of somebody's eyes and be like, I want to print that. And we don't really have that in the TTRPG space, other than like you guys. And I think you were mentioning like, we don't get rich from like zines or these smaller case games, but what it does is it fulfills a dream. It fulfills something that you wanted to do anyway, regardless, right? And I think it's very beautiful what you guys are doing, especially championing voices of color, queer voices, marginalized voices that normally in other industries needs a little bit more push. And you guys are doing a great job. And I personally, and like, disclosure, I've worked with Wes on like several things on +1 XP. And the reason why I asked Wes to be in here is because of the wonderful work that I've seen them do. That being said, like, we've been a lot of the things that we've been talking about is like more of an info dump. Let's talk about the games themselves. What are your recommended games? Like when you're getting into zines, like what are your favorite ones right now, or the ones that you want to be like, you should really play this?
I'm going to try to bring up a bunch that are like not just me and our groups and everything like that. And I'll tell you where to find a lot of these games and everything like that.
We'll have the links down on the description once this is out. But it would be wonderful to hear what you think. What titles are worth people's time.
For sure, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with +1, and we can kind of branch out from there. Just kind of looking at everything, and so I kind of just want to highlight. There's a game that we just released, and it's called It's by probably a friend of y'all's. It's Amir or Nada.
Yes.
Has a game 8th day of the week. That is pretty such a very interesting approach to solo journaling, and it's like very magical realism. It's about dealing with insomnia and sleep troubles, and discovering that there's an 8th day of the week. You've stayed up for so long that you realize that there's an actual a secret 8th day of the week. You can get that right now, $22 for print PDF, digital only, $12. But also that is a very introspective, a very cool experience to kind of go through and just sit and think about. I mentioned Brand's game, Fallen from Grace. That's one I'm always going to champion, not just because that's my partner, but because it's such an interesting approach to tarot. Instead of doing tarot prompts, it's you are oracling it. You are interpreting the deck and using that interpretations to determine how you go. I want to shout out. I don't have to shout out Caro. Everybody knows Caro. I mean, we got last trained to Brennan. Is it Brenham? Somebody will correct me. I'm terrible right now. Yeah. Last train to Bremen. Last train to Bremen.
Yeah.
Bremen, yeah. But Kara did a game with us that's called Exquisite Biome. It's about speculative biology. There's a game from the Victorian era called Exquisite Corpse, where people would take turns drawing body parts of a woman, and that's taking that kind of that's kind of weird and grotesque and gothic approach, and you get to make monsters like that. You make creatures, and so you're going around a table. You can also do it by yourself, but you're drawing aspects and determining aspects and making your own little chimeric little groups and everything like that. I also will shout out another recent one. We have Navarre, Navarre. Y'all love Navarre.
Yes,
we all love Navarre Jackson. The Corrupted. It's The Last of Us in a game. I've already shouted out Kyle Tam's games. I shouted out Super Dylan has a couple of games with us in Megan Cross, Hunter Hunted. We also have Super Dylan's Metalipsis, which is very Coheed and Cambria focused, very much creator versus creation. And then one of my favorites that we have of all time, and this is purely just because of A, he's my homie, but also B, he has such an open approach to design. It's Quinn Blackwell's Wolves of the Lake. I'm art directing one of Quinn's games right now, and I'm so lucky that I get to do that because it's such a refreshing approach to game design, where it is nestling in between that this is a tactically focused kind of game, but resource management game, but it feels very narrative and open ended. And Quinn has a very open. I'm also designing a game with him right now, and it's us two, and then it's set in ancient Rome, and so it's us two and somebody that is literally a scholar in ancient Rome and that sort of Roman mythology. And so and I'm just in awe. And Wolves of it's a beautiful book. It was laid out by Luna P. Casey, Dreamcraft Studios. Casey did all the art for it. It's fucking crazy. Sorry, not crazy. It is. It's wild. I want to shout out Ken Lowry. I know a lot of people don't need to shout out Ken Lowry, but No Tell Motel, as well as Void 1680 AM. You might have heard that.
In a previous episode, we talked
friends.
about it.
Yeah,
me and
yeah,
Pendo
absolutely.
talked about those two games in particular. Yeah,
absolutely. So shout out them. I mentioned Spencer Campbell with Gila. Rune. It's sold out almost everywhere, but that's that Elden Ring experience.
Hunt is probably one of my favorite fantasy medieval games out there.
I love knights. I'm a big knight person, more than pirates or robots or ninjas or anything. It's knights, just because it's the aesthetic. It's the
you and me both. I like the armor.
yeah, and just there's a game, Viditya's game Longsword. You play a group of knights. It's an OSR knight game. And one of my favorite things about it is you roll for your weapons, and you can get 2 shields as a weapon. So you could be a scarab knight or something like that, and running and fighting with shields. It's just really cool stuff like that. I don't know. It's vibes. That's the games that I like. I like games with vibes. Adam Voss. with World Champ Game Co. Adam Voss is really sick. He's the bassist for La Dispute. If you know who La Dispute is, that's all my emo kids out there. But he makes brilliant games that are like super DIY. Like he makes all the art for them. He carries a scanner around and does all this stuff. He's got a game that's called Bloodlock, where you play a bunch of punk rock vampires. He also helped develop Bloodborg, or he developed Bloodborg. There's a game of his that is where you play for the Warrens, the New England Paranormal Society. You work for the Warrens, and that's like a very creative kind of like approach to it. I don't know. He's very sick. He's the homie though. Like I'm gonna always shout out my homies, but like yeah. And then also I know there's a game that you should be looking for from Fabian Lelay coming. Like at some point we're gonna release it. I hope. Called Escalation. We just got to figure out. We got to figure out where we are in development for that, and figure out a place to release it. But I've already got a slot for you. If it's not this year, then we're gonna get it out at some point. But yeah, like I mean, like there's tons of people that I want to work with, that I am working with, and like I don't know, like get into those. But also like. Go hit up, like, if you're at like a local comic convention, hit up the Artist Alley and see if there's any punk rock zines there the artists are making or anything like that. And they just cover different topics. Some of them are recipe books, man. Like, I don't know, make some shit from a zine. Like I don't know, it's cool as fuck. Like I once had a zine that taught you how to roll joints. And you use the zine to practice rolling joints.
Oh yeah, they give you like those special type of paper.
Yeah, special type of paper that the pages were printed on. And you rip it out and you roll, and like that kind of thing. I'm still shitty at rolling joints. Bran rolls all of my joints. I'm a glass pipo, but like that's that's where we're at. But I don't know, like you can find anything and everything. I've got a bunch of them. If you see me at a fucking convention, or if you see me out in the wild, or you just want to hit me up. And you want more, just tell me stuff that you're into and I'll start sending recommendations to you. I don't mind. If I can blow up my DMs, they get blown up anyways. I'll just ignore you until I'm ready to. Or I'll hit you with an eye emoji to let you know I saw it, and then I'm going to come back to it. But yeah.
It's pretty cool that like this part, like, you know how it's kind of like music festivals, right? Where it's like, Darrington Press, like Modifius, like Watsy, they're all like those big, like very posh kind of like music festivals, and this is like the grungy, like we're all in the mud, we're just having fun. It's
fuck wonderful. Coachella, man. Fuck Coachella. Come hang out at the Spring Street Ska Punk Festival, dude. That's in like we have a venue in Birmingham, Alabama, which I no longer live in. I'm up in the DMV now. But I am my next door neighbor's a fucking asshole, and he keeps calling the cops on everybody. It's fucking weird.
Damn.
So yeah, really, really putting a damper on parties. But people are still partying. We're still partying around him. He can go fuck himself. But no, down in Birmingham, there's this place called the Firehouse, and it's an old firehouse in Avondale. It's just a historic black neighborhood that got hit by gentrification. And so this like punk rock venue is like the last vestige of what it used to be like down in that section of town. And so like it is very much like very much like a blister that it's a cyst that won't go away, but it's the coolest fucking cyst you'll hang out with. It's got one bathroom. It's a shitty bathroom. There is a sound system, and it is BYOB. It is a bring your own beer joint. There is no bar there or anything like that. And it's a DIY punk place. But the thing is, they have a music school. That's like, it's the Firehouse Music Institute, and like they have like a community network and everything like that, and it's cool as fuck. And that's what we're trying to do at Plus One. We're trying to be your local shitty punk like venue where we have bands doing covers of I Come Blood, and they're biting heads off of chickens and everything like that. But then we also are like teaching kids how to like make zines and stuff like that. Like we're trying to like manifest, like people talk about a tabletop community, and the tabletop community that they're talking about doesn't actually exist. What they're talking about is like an environment they're talking that we all exist in, a biome, a habitat maybe. But like what we're trying to do is foster a community within that habitat where there are, it's messy. There are disagreements. There are times like when I first joined the company, Tony was in the midst of a major back injury, and the company was getting fucked over by our printing partner, who was like just screwing up every which way and having massive delays on us and everything. And things were getting chewed up in backlog. And I came in and I was just like, oh, look at all this mess. Well, let me start cleaning up and let me turn chairs right side up and everything. And I was able to help out. And like Tony was able to heal up and everything. And he's still got back issues, but like now, like there's more of us together that are like helping out around it.
Yeah.
And so now we're able to recognize when there's issues and we're able to do something about it immediately. We're in the process of changing up who distributes our digital files right now, because we're using Shopify, but their digital file distribution is fucking dog shit. And so we're moving over to a different distributor so that people can have more control over their digital files, so they can have a library instead of us just sending zip files to you like Shopify does.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that we're learning and growing, and it's because people are letting us make their dope zines like this.
Yeah.
And it's because we also have a community, a network of people that we're working with, like Spencer, like Adam Voss. There's somebody, Megan Wright, Mozzarella, who does like online content and stuff like that, does solo RPGs, came over and talked to us at the booth and was like, I love doing solo RPGs. I do high produced content, and like I do actual plays for them if there's stuff that we can do together. And I'm like, absolutely, let's get you networked in. Let's get your audience playing our games. Let's get our people watching your stuff. Like let's cohabitate together in a way that's not like, hey, take this code and everybody gets 25% off of our orders, and that's the only interaction that we're going to have with you. It's not even 25% off. You're going to get 10% off, which is just going to cover your shipping or your taxes. It's not even a code. It's just free shipping. But like, we're not trying to foster that kind of like communication and that kind of connections with people that do influence work and everything like that. We're not wanting you to be an influencer. We're wanting you to be a member of our community, and we want you to enjoy being there so that you can bring more people in.
Yeah.
We're not trying to gatekeep it. What we're trying to do is we're trying to have a secure like place where people can come in and out as they please, and we're also keeping fucking Nazis from coming in and everything like that.
Yeah.
And like there's been times when people have come in, they're like, look at this AI art thing that's made, and all of us have been like, stop it, you're in a community of artists, why are you doing this? And then people have been receptive to it, and also people have blown up at us and had a massive meltdown on Twitter, and then next thing you know, they're not making stuff anymore. And so it we are like protecting our artists within the community as well.
Yeah.
But it's not, we're not setting up like security checkpoints or anything like that. It's everybody's watching out for each other.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And it's because of zine games, and it's because of indie games, and it's because we're working together. And the person that's buying your game, like 15 of your games, is also somebody that's working with you on a game with somebody else. Like, you're in the trenches with everybody else. We're all on the factory floor, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, so let's make it, let's make it as best as we can, and then let's take over. So that's like, you know, that kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a beautiful thing, the way that you perceive like the community, like you perceive community in general.
Yeah.
And we've been talking for a while, and like it's been wonderful learning about zines, the process that you take, and the pretty much like the mission statement that you guys have. I think the last question that we want to ask is for the people who love these games, but their parties, their groups, their players only love playing one game. What is your advice? Like, what is your like simple advice to people who want to just like get their other like friends to play games with them?
You have to be cunning. And I don't mean that like you don't have to be sneaky or underhanded, or I mean cunning. You have to use wit. You have to use be able to make a compelling argument. You have to be able to be observational. And essentially, if you're a GM and your group just wants to play Dungeons and Dragons 2024, There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, don't play Dungeons and Dragons 2024. Play 4th edition or 3.5 or something like that. I love D&D. That's a lot of people. That's a misconception. People think because I hate the fucking company that I hate D&D. No, 3.5 was the first time that I like played around a table with homies. Like, and then Werewolf the Apocalypse came and quickly took over everything after that. But like listen to your players, listen to what parts they really enjoy about your game. And then just have a small stack of zines that you got from someplace like IGDN or Plus One, or you maybe bought them directly from the person, or they were handed to you. And then you have somebody, no calls, no shows for a session. Or you have two people, they're a married couple, and they have to watch the kid, so they can't, the babysitter's sick, that kind of thing, so they can't make it to your session. So you only have 3 players. Grab and say, hey, I have a game that's like 3 players, and it kind of fits within the universe. Do y'all kind of want to do like a mini, like a filler episode, or do y'all want to do we can do like a flashback, like that kind of thing, of just finding a way to frame it and tie it into, like, I've found the best luck with playing games like that is like finding a way to tie it into what we all showed up to do, because it's really hard to spring on somebody that came in with the mindset that I'm playing this game and I'm coming to play this game, and then now everything's thrown off and we don't get to play anymore, and so I guess we're just gonna sit here and talk for a little bit. And which I do love that. I love just sitting and chatting about stuff, and then like, we go play video games, or we just go off and do our own shit. But like, I don't know, I've had a lot of fun with like playing games with folks where we went in expecting to play Vampire the Masquerade, and then we ended up playing I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic, or Wickedness or something like that. And we were able to utilize that to add some more world building to our world or something like that. Like, I don't know, like, I think just kind of communicating and being open-minded, it always feels like a cop-out when I say communication, because that's like the root of everything. Also, I just think like gifts are a really good way to kind of get people into stuff. I'm a person, I don't receive a lot of gifts. I get, now what I get, I used to be a person that didn't get a lot of gifts, to now I'm a person that people will not stop handing things to me, but it's in order for me to make them. I have people, I'm not going to show the titles or anything, but I have people like handing me books all the time. I just pulled 2 zines out from nowhere, people, if you're just listening to this. I have zines I have trap zines all over my house. But like, people hand me things all the time, but the thing is like when somebody says, can you read this? And I know you probably won't make it, but I just want to see if you like it, and could you let me know what you think about it? And I sit there and I sit at the booth and I'm like, I'm taking my lunch, and instead of eating lunch, which is bad and I shouldn't do, I sit there and I read the zine and I'm just captivated by it. And I think that that's something that an experience that one of your players or one of your friends could have. If like, because you never know, like, you might have a homie that's going through, like, they're over here yearning for somebody. They're deep in the yearning mines, and they got their little pickaxe, and they're just digging up their little romance thoughts, and you're like, man, I really want to kind of get my boy over the edge. I want to help him out. This is my homie. We were in a frat together. We love each other to death. Is my best friend. So I'm going to go ahead and play Alyssa Gabriel's Unresolved Sapphic Tension with him and kind of see what's going on. And we can use that as a moment to like kind of talk about what's going on in his head. We can use that as a jump off point. And then now that homie has a consistent memory of Alyssa Gabriel's Unresolved Sapphic Tension, which you can find on the Plus One EXP store now. If you just type in UST Plus One, it'll be the first thing that pops up. And then you can have your friend have this positive memory connected to the situation, especially if my dude gets over yearning and just like swallows that pill and just goes up and asks the person if there's any interest in anything like that. That's a memory. That's a core memory that you've developed. And I feel like we need to... Brand says something very eloquent, where a brand, it's not very eloquent, but it's very concise and it's elegant in its simplicity, which is, I wish people would stop fucking talking about D&D. And that is, stop trying to utilize D&D or things like that as a means to get other people to play games. Instead of saying, I wish you would play other things than this, start inviting them to things like this. Start opening them up to things like that. Take that out of the conversation. Take the other game out of the conversation. I posted something on Blue Sky about it, and it's the we are the alternative, not the opposition. I am not opposing big companies like Renegade or Wizards of the Coast or Hunters or anything like that. I'm not their enemy. I'm not their opponent. I would lose that fight. I'm punching above my weight class. But I'm an alternative. If you're disappointed with how they're running their business, if you're disappointed with the products they're releasing, if you're just not having fun anymore, or if you want to try something new, I'm here. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, me and all my homies are here in a block party, and yeah, it's not in a fancy high rise, but we've got coolers full of beer and there's barbecue going and everything like that. Hop on in and have a good time. Like that's what we're offering, and that's how you should approach getting people to try new games, as making it as like an alternative of like pay attention and just be like, y'all seem to be bouncing off of this. This seems to be boring to y'all, or not. And you don't even have to phrase it that harshly, but it's like, it seems that we're not gelling with this. Do we want to take a break and like maybe try to like just view it as an exercise? You're getting your creative juices flowing. There's so many ways you can go about it, and that's a really long-winded way, but I hope you find something in that like word salad that is nutritious to you. But like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, just stop viewing it as like a chore or something that like you have to do with your friends.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that like, I don't know, they like Marvel movies and stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't fucking stand the things. But I'm not going to sit over there and be like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. You're stepping and pissing on my childhood. Stop it. Like, I'm not going to be that fucking old fogey that's outside yelling it. I'm going to participate and watch and engage in the stuff that I enjoy. And then when they're tired of that, then I'm going to pull up a seat and let them engage with what I'm doing. And hopefully they like it. And if they don't, cool, whatever.
It's like that gif of The Simpsons where Homer pats the couch of just like,
oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have a seat. Yeah, I'm right there. I'm sitting right there. Homer Simpson. That's me. I'm the Homer Simpson of TTRPGs, which I think a lot of people would agree with. Doe.
A lot of wonderful insight and advice.
Yeah.
Really happy to have you here. That's pretty much all we have. Wes, apart from Plus One XP, where can they find you? Where can they find your work? Where can they follow you so when Villains comes out, they can like sit through an amazing actual play?
Yeah. So I'm in the process of, so what you can do right now, if you want Villains to come out faster, because it's a money thing right now. It is a money and time and energy thing right now that just has me slowly, trickly working on it. Is you can go to RPG Zine Club. You can just look that up, Plus One RPG Zine Club, and you can go support us. We even have a tier that's like $5 where you get 10% off of our site. And it's just a supporter tier. It's like, we're not sending you free stuff. We're not sending you, so we're not going to send you the games month to month, but we will send you free quick starts. We will send you like stuff, but it's just not going to be the games. And that's like a really easy way, because the more you give to Plus One through the Zine Club, that shows that you love it, and that means that we get a bigger budget for the creators. And if we get a bigger budget for the creators, and we're able to make better games or make more games or that sort of thing like that, or just be able to provide them, like, be able to print more copies of the game, then that just means that, like, you know, you're helping me out. Also, you can check me out on the Gauntlet Podcast 2nd Edition. Fabs and Joe were on an actual play 2-parter with us over there. It's me and Jason Cordova. I am the Cash to his Tango. I am he is the elder statesman, and I am the war dog, the young gun. I am. You can find me carrying-comfort.com on Blue Sky. That's also my website that links to my Ko-fi shop. Please buy my games through my Ko-fi shop. Don't buy them through Itch right now.
Yeah, right now.
Just right now, just because I don't know. I don't get any of that money I have so many payments that have not been paid out to me. So hit me up on my coffee shop. I've got supplements for Carve from Riddlewood games. I've got my own games. I've got a morning ritual that's memorializing David Lynch. Go ahead and grab them. And that's me. And you can check out actual plays on Thursday nights here on Bad House RPG, Eternity in Jersey City. I get to play a nasty little fucker on that. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, again, my name's Fabian. I've enjoyed talking to Wes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to us ramble about zines. Join us again next time. Peace.
Peace.